drugs. So let me help you understand and know more about drugs. Remember, not all drugs are illegal and every substance that is abused is bad for you. So let's start. Drugs have different categories. Drugs can be categorized by the way in which they affect our bodies. Depressants. Depressants slow down the messages between the brain and the body. They don't necessarily make you feel depressed, but help you lose your concentration and coordination, your ability to respond to what's happening around you. Small doses of depressants can make you feel relaxed, calm, and less inhibited. That is why they are used for medication for ADHD and other mental health issues. Larger doses, however, can cause sleepiness, vomiting, nausea, unconsciousness, and even death. One example of depressants is alcohol. Alcohol is a drug that affects your body, how you think, feel, and behave. Drinking too much can affect your health and disrupt your life. Learn about guidelines to reduce your risk, find help to reduce your own drinking, or support someone close to you. Benzodiazepines, minor tranquilizers such as Valium, are most commonly prescribed by doctors to relieve stress and anxiety and to help people sleep. They can also be used to treat alcohol withdrawal and epilepsy. However, there is increasing concern among medical professionals about the risk of using these drugs, particularly when they are used for a very long time, because it can be abusive. Cannabis or marijuana, a tobacco-like greenish or brownish substance made of dried flowering tops and leaves of the cannabis plant, is usually smoked, but its resin and oil could be swallowed or brewed in tea. After taking cannabis, users feel relaxed and then sometimes euphoric, with an intensified sense of sight, smell, taste, or hearing. Users' thinking slow down and they become confused and have bouts of anxiety, panic, and psychotic episodes. GHB, gamma hydroxybutyrate, usually comes as a colorless, odorless, bitter, or salty liquid that is usually sold in small bottles or vials. It can also come as a bright blue liquid known as blue nitro and less commonly as a crystal blue powder. Feeling euphoria, increased sex drives, lowered inhibitions, drowsiness, tremors, nausea, and diarrhea are the most common side effects of this drug. Ketamine. Ketamine is used by medical practitioners and veterinarians as an anesthetic. It is sometimes used illegally by people to get high. Ketamine can produce psychedelic effects that can cause a person to see, hear, smell, feel, or taste things that aren't really there, or different from how they are in reality. When it's sold illegal, ketamine usually comes as a white crystalline powder and can also be made into tablets, pills, or dissolvable in liquid. Opioids. When you have a mild headache or muscle ache, an over-the-counter pain reliever is usually enough to make you feel better. But if your pain is more severe, your doctor might recommend something stronger than the prescription opioid. Opioids are a type of narcotic pain medication. They can have a serious side effects if you don't use them correctly. For people who have an opioid addiction, their problem often started with a prescription. Cocaine. It is a fine white or off-white powder extracted from the leaves of the cocoa plant. It is usually sniffed or injected, while crack is usually smoked after snorting cocaine. Users have exhilarated and euphoric, leading to an increased energy levels and alertness along with the delayed hunger and fatigue. Heroin. Pure heroin is a white powder, but street heroin is a brownish white. This highly addictive drug is usually injected, but could also be snorted, smoked, or inhaled. Heroin could relieve tension, anxiety, and depression, including physical distress or pain. Overdosing in heroin could lead to coma and death through respiratory depression. Hallucinogens. Change affect your sense of reality. You can have hallucinations. Your senses are distorted and the way you see, hear, taste, smell, or feel things is different. For example, you may see or hear things that aren't really there, or you may have unusual thoughts or feelings. Small doses can cause a feeling of floating, numbness, confusion, disorientation, or dizziness. Larger doses may cause hallucinations, memory loss, distress, anxiety, increased heart rate, paranoia, panic, and aggression. For examples of hallucinogens. Cannabis can be smoked, eaten, or vaporized and comes in different forms. Users report that the subjective effects of cannabis vary significantly depending on the form consumed. Marijuana. This is the most common form. It is made from dried leaves and flower buds of the cannabis plant that are smoked in a joint or a bong. Hashish. The dried plant resin that is usually mixed with tobacco and smoked or added to foods and baked goods such as cookies and brownies. Hash oil. Liquid that is usually sparingly due to high potency and added to the tip or a joint of a cigarette and smoke. Concentrates. Extracts, dabs, wax, or shatter, typically using butane hash oil or solvent, often vaporized in small quantities due to high THC content or high hallucinogen content. LSD, acid, or hippie. It is found in a fungus that grow on rye and other grains. The colorless and odorless drug is often swallowed and has slightly bitter taste. Over the short term, users experience delusions and other distorted perceptions in terms of time and color, severe and terrifying thoughts and feelings such as fear of losing control, insanity, death, and despair. Psilocybin. Psilocybin or magic mushroom are naturally occurring and are consumed for the hallucinogen effects. They belong to the group of drugs known as psychedelics because of the changes in experience to perception, mood, and thought. The key ingredient found in magic mushroom is psilocybin. When psilocybin is taken, it is converted into the body to psilocin, which is the chemical with the psychoactive properties. Stimulants. Stimulants speed up the messages between the brain and the body. This can cause your heart to beat faster, your blood pressure to go up, your body temperature to go up, leading to heat exhaustion or even heat stroke. Reduce appetite, agitation, sleeplessness. You can feel more awake, alert, confident, or energetic. Larger doses can cause anxiety, panic, seizures, stomach cramps, and paranoia. Shabu. It is manufactured in illegal laboratories and sold in powder, tablet, or crystal form. It could be swallowed, sniffed, smoked, or injected. Over the short term, users tend to lose their appetite, start to breathe faster, and sweat due to increased heart rate, blood pressure, and body temperature. Long-term use could cause malnutrition, weight loss, and psychological dependence. Stop its use result to a long period of sleep followed by depression. Ecstasy. It comes in the form of tablet, powder, or capsule and is usually swallowed but could also be snorted or injected. Ecstasy users' empathy levels induce a feeling of closeness to people around them. It makes them feel more sociable and energetic. Amphetamines are psychostimulant drugs, which mean they speed up messages traveling between the brain and the body. You might feel the effects of amphetamines immediately if injected or smoked, or within 30 minutes if snorted or swallowed. You might experience happiness and confidence, talking more and feeling energetic. Larger pupils and dry mouth, fast heartbeat and breathing. Teeth grinding, reduce appetite, increase sex drive. Caffeine. Caffeine or coffee is a stimulant drug, which means it speeds up messages traveling between the brain and the body. It is found in the seeds, nuts, and leaves of a number of different plants, including coffee arabica, Thea sinensis, Cola acuminata, Theobroma cacao, Paulina cupana. The following effects may be experienced within 30 minutes after consuming caffeine and may continue for over 6 hours. Feeling more alert and active, restlessness, excitability, and dizziness, anxiety and irritability, dehydration and needing to urinate more often, higher body temperature, faster breathing and heart rate, headache and lack of concentration, stomach pains. Regular heavy use of caffeine, such as more than 4 cups of coffee a day, may eventually cause anxiety, difficulty in sleeping, ulcers, osteoporosis in postmenopausal women, irritability and headaches, dizziness and ringing in the ears, muscle tremors, weakness and fatigue, rapid heart rate, and weakened breathing rate, poor appetite, nausea, vomiting and diarrhea, increased thirst, frequent urination or increased urine volume, irregular heart rate or rhythm, low blood pressure and faintness or false seizures, confusion or delirium. Nicotine. Nicotine can be found in smoking cigarettes or vapes. It is a stimulant drug that speeds up messages traveling between the brain and the body. It is the main psychoactive ingredient in tobacco products, and so this drug facts page will focus on the effects of nicotine when consumed by using tobacco tar and carbon monoxide. A toxic gas are released when tobacco is burned, such as when it's smoked. Products such as cigarettes, cigars, pipe tobacco, chewing tobacco, and wet and dry snuff and the dried leaves from tobacco plant all contain nicotine. Electronic cigarettes, also known as e-cigarettes, do not contain dried tobacco leaves, but they may still contain nicotine. The following effects may be experienced among people who do not normally smoke tobacco products and receive second-hand smoke: dizziness, headache, nausea, abdominal cramps, possibly vomiting or weakness. If a large amount of nicotine is taken, the following effects may also be experienced: confusion, feeling faint, seizures, fast breathing, respiratory arrest, or stop breathing, and death. For people who smoke tobacco products regularly, they will build up a tolerance to the immediate short-term effects of smoking tobacco and make experience to the following effects of smoking: mild stimulation, increase in heart rate, increased ability to concentrate, relaxation, temporary reduction in the urge of smoking, coughing, dizziness, headaches, bad breath, tingling and numbness in fingers and toes, reduced appetite, stomach cramps, and vomiting. RA No. 9165 or Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. It is a policy that the state to safeguard the integrity of its territory and the well-being of its citizenry, particularly the youth, from the harmful effects of dangerous drugs on their physical and mental well-being, and to defend the same against acts of omission and detrimental to their development and preservation. It was signed by the law by President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo on June 7, 2002. It also created the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA under the Office of the President, which serves as implementing arms of the DDE. The PDEA is responsible for for the enforcement of all provisions on any dangerous drugs, controlled prosecutors and essential chemicals as provided in the Fact. Penalties. Possession of dangerous drugs, Section 1.1, RA 9165, life imprisonment, fine ranging from 500,000 pesos to 10 million pesos, depending on the amount of illegal drugs they possess or use. Possession of equipment, instrument, apparatus, and other paraphernalia for dangerous drugs. Section 1.2, RA 9165, imprisonment ranging from 6 months, 1 day, 4 years, fine ranging from 10,000 pesos to 50,000 pesos. Possession of drugs during parties, social gatherings, or meetings. Any person found possessing any dangerous drugs during a party or a social gathering or meeting or in the proximately company of at least 2 people or person. Section 13, RA 9165, life imprisonment, fine of 10 million pesos. A person apprehended or arrested who is found to be positive for the use of any dangerous drugs after a confirmatory test shall be imposed of penalty of a minimum 6 months rehabilitation in a government center for the first offense. If apprehended using any drugs or dangerous drugs for the second time, Section 15 RA 9165, imprisonment ranging from 6 years, 1 day to 12 years, fine ranging to 50,000 pesos to 200,000 pesos. Criminal liability of government officials and employees, Section 28 RA 9165, life imprisonment, absolute perpetual disqualification from any public office. The latest issue today in the Philippines about drugs is the war on drugs. Since taking office on June 30, 2016, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte has carried out the war on drugs that has led to the deaths of 12,000 Filipinos to date, mostly urban poor. At least 2,555 the killings have been attributed to the Philippine National Police, or the PNP. Duterte and the other senior officials had instigated and incited the killings in a campaign that could amount to crimes against humanity. Human Rights Watch research has found the police are falsifying evidence to justify the unlawful killings. Despite growing calls for an investigation, Duterte has vowed to continue the campaign. Large-scale extrajudicial violence as a crime solution was the marker of Duterte's 22-year tenure as mayor of Davao City. And the cornerstone of the presidential campaign, on the eve of May 9, 2016 election victory, Duterte told a crowd of more than 300,000 people, "If I make it to the presidential palace, I will do just what I did as a mayor. You drug pushers, hold up men, and do nothings, you better get out because I will kill you." Upland Tokhang. The Philippine National Police, or the PNP, manages Upland Double Barrel as a part of involvement in President Rodrigo Duterte's campaign against illegal drugs in the Philippines. Upland Tokhang is a nationwide law enforcement initiative that has been implemented across the country. Tokhang is a Visayan word that means to approach and chat. This was launched as a part of campaign to inform drug traffickers and users about the dangers of drug usage. And also, Upland Tokhang, which rolled out shortly after President Rodrigo Duterte became a president in June 2016, allows the police to raid suspect homes even in ungodly hours and without a warrant. Remember, there are 4 categories of drugs: depressants, stimulants, opium-related painkillers, and hallucinogens. Possession of illegal drugs cannot be authorized without authorization, a valid authorization from professionals. And manufacturing illegal drugs, using illegal drugs, or using illegal drugs is not tolerated by the government and to be punished severely. Always remember to be responsible and smart. Do not or never use illegal drugs or abuse drugs because it can affect your whole being and destroy your life. That's all. Thank you for listening. Say no to drugs unless you really need it. Stay safe. Thank you.